Snacks. Look at that there. What it do, y'all? All the snackers and snackettes, the snack X's out there in the world. Your boy Gage is here. Jokes is here. Sin is here. You are now tuned in to Loading Snacks Weekly, where we get together once a week. We talk about things that are happening in pop culture. And today, I like it. Hold the note, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you one of the pips now.
Hey,
Today we're gonna talk about, I don't know what to call it. Not E3. We're gonna talk about not E3, I guess. And all of the announcements and stuff that happened, but mostly we're gonna talk about the things that were the most exciting to us personally, individually. We're gonna get into whether or not we miss E3 or not. And outside of getting ourselves off the rails, because we might have to talk a little bit about the Acolyte. We are going to talk about for Men's Mental Health Month. That is this month. We're gonna talk about games that are our like comfort food. Things that just when we kind of feel like we need a break, we choose those titles specifically to kind of help us maybe relax or kind of get away from it all. So we're going to talk about that a bit, and we'll be doing stuff like that all month long. So before we get into that, Jokes has a job to do, which may or may not already be done. Sometimes Jokes gets a little ahead of things. How y'all doing? What's up, Candace? What's up, Doctor Who? Jokes to get the Beacons link up for you so that you can follow us across everywhere. We're like 5 subs away from that infamous 1,000.
so close.
On YouTube. We're gonna hit it probably like tomorrow. We're going for it. You know what I mean? Like we're just gonna make it happen.
Yep. Shoot for the
Of course. Sin, you got a job to do.
Yeah, so let's shout out our top tier patrons, starting with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dortch, Tyrone Carson, Meticulous Skin, Alex Lee, Ellis Mbe, Kermit Ferguson, and Will Heward. Thank you very much. We truly, truly appreciate it.
Indeed, we do. And without further ado, we got to talk about all of. It's hard not to just talk about Xbox, but like we got to talk about all of what happened for Summer Game Fest. Before we get into this, let me ask the question: do either of you consider the PlayStation State of Play part of the Summer Game Fest? Used to be E3. Is it part of that or no?
I'm gonna say yeah.
Yeah, I'm still gonna say yeah, even though it seems like they're trying to do it like outside of the box or outside of the realm of everybody else. But nah, I still think it's part of it.
I'm gonna say no. Okay. Here's why I'm gonna say no. Because I feel like they didn't do anything to like actually align themselves with it. Like they didn't even announce that they were doing anything until like a few days before they did it. So in all honesty, it feels more to me like they were just kind of trying to ride the coattails or kind of be on the wave and maybe get a little bit ahead of all of the news that was going to come out. That, other than games that are multi-platform, there just really isn't anything that is PlayStation geared. And so it was kind of like, let's do something. And here's kind of where that comes from for me. The years of E3 have always kind of been muddied with the waters of PlayStation always does their show on Monday after Xbox does their show, giving them time to like change things and switch things up or whatever to make their show look better, feel better, or seem better. And it's like, I know that there's a lot of time and prep that goes into these shows, but to me, what they showed not only was announced so last minute, but was also like so lackluster. Like, we didn't really like what they did. Forget everybody else having something and like what we know now with hindsight being 2020. Like, when we came out of reacting to that state of play, we were just like, it was all right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get it if you don't really have much to show. And it's relatively quiet, this year. Like, I want to say that, like, I guess the Lego Horizon was the big PlayStation announcement, technically, for all of what Summer Game Fest was. It opened Summer Game Fest, and okay, like, and PlayStation didn't even talk about it. It wasn't, you know what I mean? It wasn't even their thing. So it feels to me like, nah, we're not a part of it, but we better do something. It just kind of felt last minute, and like, I know
Definitely
it's
fully last minute
together, but it definitely doesn't feel like it didn't feel like there was any real concerted effort put in to try to do something. And so right now I'm kind of lumping them in the same place where I lump Nintendo, which is like, we just don't do that anymore. Like, it's weird, but I feel like the decision that they made to no longer do E3, maybe in some way it's kind of biting them. Like, yeah, you could do your own thing. You can kind of have, whatever. You don't have to go to E3. Now that E3 is not there, no, you don't have to have a thing yet. There is this news cycle that the industry seems to just be on. Yeah, you can do your own. Like, Nintendo's going to do something. They have announced that there is going to be a direct in June. And I feel like the only reason why they said that is because they were on an investor call and they were just like, there will be a joint in June. What up, Rich? But they're not. There will be no Switch 2 news. Don't even look for that.
Right.
So maybe sometime next week they'll do something, but it just seems a little weird. And I would consider what Nintendo's doing to not be a part of this, and I would consider what PlayStation's doing to not be a part of this, because it doesn't even fall technically within the week that this happens. Like, that kickoff from Friday through, I guess, technically this Thursday, because there is still some stuff happening. For the most part, it's over now. But they're not even in that window. So, like, I would say no. Why do you feel like it is, Jokes?
I guess just because it's a part of like the same, like there's something like literally each day, like they kind of, I don't want to say they started things, but it started then, and then we just kind of had something every single day over the last few days. So it still feels like it's like a part of it overall, but PlayStation kind of just wants to distance themselves really from like everything and just be like their own silo. So like Nintendo has their silo, Sony wants to have their own silo, while everybody else is kind of like, you know what? This is going to be the gaming week since there's no E3 week anymore, and just do it together.
Okay.
It's close enough to the other ones for me to feel like it's still a part of it. If it had been like a month before, yeah, I wouldn't have thought that, or maybe a few more weeks, whatever, before, I wouldn't have thought that. But the fact that it is still close within the time these other ones drop, like they're still within the same month, pretty much, like that's why I just consider it a part of everything.
I mean,
even
though if you say
Nintendo's joint happens next week, you'll consider that part of this whole Summer Game
personally,
Fest.
I would.
Now, I don't know if there was like a week apart, it feels like they tried to intentionally like separate. It would feel like they intentionally separated themselves from the rest of it. So I would then, in that case, I would say no, because they didn't want. It seemed like they didn't want to even be close to what everybody else was going to do.
I mean, hey Heather, I guess this is where I am. If you feel like it was a part of all of it, then in my opinion of like them not really wanting to be a part of it, but like trying to make it kind of feels to me like remember how like Electronic Arts decided we're not going to E3 anymore, but we're going to do EA Play. but it's basically gonna be in the parking lot.
Right across
Yeah.
the street.
Yeah.
Right across the street.
E3. So like technically we're there, but we're not
We're
there.
not there. Yeah.
That's how the PlayStation State of Play felt to me. And
Okay.
I also want to say I think that part of the reason why I'm not really considering it is because it wasn't a showcase, which their showcases are supposed to be. They're like big kind of blockbuster, like, you know what I mean?
It was just a normal state of play,
to
essentially.
me, those are their, like, a showcase is their E3 level kind of a conference, you know, for lack of a better way of saying it, whether you do it live or not. Where state of play is now just kind of a thing that happens any time of year. And so Nintendo hasn't done a conference in forever.
Yeah.
But to me, everything Nintendo does feels the same. I don't care what kind of direct Nintendo calls it. It always feels exactly the same.
Yeah.
There is nothing that feels different about one presentation to another. You might get more information, or there might be a direct that is specific to one game, but it just feels like the same thing. Sony has gone out of their way to make what the state of play is feel different from the showcase, from a PlayStation showcase. And to me, a showcase is like, that's what you do if you're doing E3. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like they were like, they're doing something, we should show up. You know what I mean? Like, I remember us having conversations about Sony pulling out of E3 and being like, that's kind of crazy. They should show up. Like, even if they're not gonna have a conference and, you know, pay to use the Microsoft Theater, I get that. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. They should still show up. Like, I remember us having that conversation and feeling that same way. And so this was almost like, nah, we don't really bang with Jeff Kelly like that, but I guess we'll just do something. Just do something, put something out, you know, whatever, and here it is. And it kind of felt like they didn't really care. That's how I feel. Like, they cared enough to not want everybody to be saying something and them not get mentioned, but not enough to actually put real effort into doing it.
I get that.
Summer Game Fest, Friday, 2 hours, a lot of trailers. Was there anything that came out of Summer Game Fest that you can think of right now that you're like, nah, that was great, I need that?
Nope.
Nah. I got a release date for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. That was probably the biggest thing for me.
I mean, there is that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything was cool, but other than like, it wasn't just that.
That one thing,
Yeah.
So from the weekend, let's say Friday through Monday, because we had Games Fest, there was like the Future Game Show, like there was other stuff. There was obviously the Xbox Showcase. There was Ubisoft Forward. Jokes, what did you get to watch? Like, you didn't really get to jump in and kind of do some of the reacting with us. So I kind of want to get your take on, you know, what you saw based on what you did get to see.
I pretty much watched all of the Xbox Showcase. Summer's Game Fest, I probably watched about 15, 20 minutes because I literally was in between. I was on break. So I got in. You know what? Yes, there is some for Summer Game Fest because I got two things out of that. So I got the date for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and with Jeff Keighley, it's like, yeah, here's a special thing for you guys. Here's a new Power Rangers game. I was like, what?
I wasn't going to say nothing.
I almost forgot that show for a second. I was like, wasn't expecting that at all because they have other side beat 'em up kind of games, but this one seemed like it is continuing the Once a Ranger storyline that they just released, like the 30th anniversary episode. So I'm eager to see how that goes. But other than that,
I mean, listen, all I know is a 6-player co-op couch and online.
Bruh.
That's what I know.
I call the Green Ranger or White Ranger, whichever one hopefully is in the game. But I'll take
sir.
the red.
You are the Black Ranger. You will dance
Nope.
and punch.
Nope.
That is your job.
I'm taking the
And you got to show with a messed up haircut too. Your shape line gotta be.
Well, it's already missing, so I don't. I think I'm good in the category. I think I'm good in the category.
Yeah, I was thinking like, so Jokes is not even gonna bring up the stuff that he specifically texted the group chat about.
Right.
You're not gonna bring that up. Those are the two things.
Those are the two things.
Freaking Power Rangers, man.
Hey, listen, I was just amped.
Beat him up.
Hey, listen, the people in there were sliced about that joke. That was what even made it better. Caught everybody off guard.
Yeah, nobody was expecting that. You know what I mean?
Hell no. That was straight out of left field.
It's cool.
Hey,
I hope it's good. I hope it's good because I feel like we're gonna end up having to play that joint. I didn't see what it's coming out on though. I didn't see platforms.
So it was wish list, but then when you go to
I was gonna say I thought I only saw like Steam.
It was either the website or whatever. It looked like it was confirmed for consoles as well too. But for some reason they didn't.
That,
hold up.
Because if it's not, keep that joint goodbye.
Oh, I'm playing that on PC.
Oh,
hey,
but
just
we know. Yeah.
Hey, but just know there was when he announced it, because I was in the break area. Just know there was an exclamation. I was like, Power Rangers, and somebody was sitting at the table.
Wait, hold on.
Power Rangers. Hey, and there was someone sitting at the table across from me, and he was like, "What'd you say about Power Rangers?" I was like, "They just announced a new game." He was like, "Get your ass over here with your phone so I can see that jump right quick."
Bring your ass here.
Boy. Oh man.
Oh, God.
I don't know if I've ever heard you put that much puh in a P when you said a P word, bro. Power Rangers. Like,
he dug into his Malfoy bag.
Yeah.
Potter.
Straight up. All right. So that okay. Was there any the whole weekend? What stood out to you, Jokes? What are your like? What are the things based on what got announced?
Mm-hmm.
You're most anticipating.
I'm happy that they announced during the Xbox. So Mecha Break. Originally that joint was only on PC. I actually had access to they had like their first alpha that was very basic. So I got to kind of experiment with it, but it's PC. It's just not my forte. I wasn't expecting them to actually say, yeah, hey, Kay, what's up, man? But hey, it's rare. It's rare.
Oh, man, let's go ahead.
It's rare for Kay to be here, so I just want to do that. But Mega Break was originally, it was only for PC, but hearing that it's coming to console as well too really amped me. Like Armored Core looks really good, but Mecha Break just looks absolutely amazing. It's the closest thing that I think I'm gonna get to like that type of a Gundam style game. I don't think they'll do anything like super real life. Eventually.
Yeah.
You didn't see the Gundam the trailer for the new Gundam game?
Gundam game are you talking about?
All right, hold on. You just keep talking. I just keep talking. I got you. I got you.
Okay, no, because I'm like, hold on, what did I miss?
You definitely missed something.
But during, so I'll switch over to Xbox now. Actually, let me just go to my list because I actually wrote down. Expedition 33. Something that we hadn't heard about or anything for, but just seeing what they were presenting just kind of had me like, the hits felt like, okay, I'm liking what I'm seeing right here. I want a little bit more about it, but I like that one. That definitely could be a day one type of play right there. Gears, obviously I was like, yo, Gear 6 is going to be here. It has to be here. And it was not.
Well, it was not.
But we did get Gears E-Day, which is for those that have never played Gears of War, Emergence Day. This is what started the whole entire thing. It's set like 14 years before the first game. So we'll get to experience what happened during that time. So I'm real amped to get into that. But I think those are probably my biggest. Oh, Valorant. I
Okay,
played
God's
Valorant
Home.
I played Valorant on PC and I really liked it. I stuck with it for a while, but as usual, it's PC. But
Yeah.
hearing that that's coming to consoles now, that's going to open up a whole new set of people, a whole new set of fans to get in and actually play that. Um, that was a real solid addition, I would say. I'm sure I'll randomly think of something else, but those are probably my.
Sin.
I can agree with some of those. Mecha Break I forgot about, so definitely that's on my radar. Gears definitely on my radar. Uh, Assassin's Creed. Oh, I'm loving what I'm seeing from it. So that is super high on my list. We're finally going to Japan.
And thank you for getting it out the way out of October, because October was getting a little clustered. So thank you for that.
Yeah. So I'm super excited to get my hands on that. Star Wars Outlaws. I know we had a conversation about how much was real in the trailer we saw, but what they showed, I enjoyed it. I'm hyped for it. I'm looking to see where they're going with this. So I'm definitely looking forward to copping that day one. What else? Oh, yeah, Expedition 33 jokes. Yeah, that is high. When I'm talking about out of all the new stuff, not like, oh, we're waiting for this, we're waiting for that. Just no. That thing looks amazing. The concept is fire. It looks beautiful. The art style looks dope. Like the gameplay looks sick. I am all aboard for this 1,000% right now. Other than those, finally getting to see Perfect Dark gameplay, so I'm super excited to get back into Perfect Dark and finally getting a real gameplay look at Fable and seeing what Playground Games have been working on. I feel a lot better now actually seeing like an actual gameplay trailer. It's still keeping the charm and what makes Fable so great. So I am all aboard, so hype. Those are the ones that stuck out for me the most.
Assassin's Creed Shadow. Bruh, I have been waiting. I have been waiting for a good stealth game. Like stealth games just kind of went away. It wasn't like, I remember, I don't know, not too long ago, Ubisoft saying that they were working on like a Splinter Cell remake. And I'm like, let's go. Give it to me. Y'all got to say it. One more thing. Didn't happen.
Nope.
But the stealth that is coming for Assassin's Creed is like, I'm all in. Probably biggest surprise was like the 33. Like that came out of nowhere. And
it looks so good.
Like it gave me Lost Odyssey vibes. Like the way the combat is.
Agreed.
And I just like I miss that. Like I need that. And I don't want to say I prefer turn-based combat, but I just feel like so many developers have gone away from it and moved into like action for RPGs that like there is something that is special to me about turn-based. Like what Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth are missing. The reason why they're not actually as good as the originals is because they're not turn-based. And the reason for that is because you only control one character, technically. Like you know what I mean? Like when you get in a fight, you have the option to bounce from character to character, but
it's not the same.
You don't. You know what I mean? Like you get whoever you have, you give the other characters like here's some assignments for you to do. And it just feels like you're less really in with the party. You're Cloud. You know what I mean? And like in the original game, you're Cloud, but like you control everyone. And like it felt more important to like choose your party and know how their abilities affected each other and be aware of the timing and like what options they had and how effective their materia was going to be in combination with the other ones that they had. It just it meant more, and it doesn't feel the same. And so I think that there's something that's lost in trying to take something like that and make it an action game. And so them going that route with this was like, I'm all in. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to have a good, solid turn-based RPG. Metaphor ReFantasio. When I looked at they did like a deep dive into it. I've never really managed to I struggled to get into the Persona games. This feels a little more like, for some reason, like this will work for me. The Persona games have they check all the boxes. It checks all the boxes. I should like those games. Like, I should be all in on those games. For some reason, it just doesn't. And this just, I don't know. For some reason, it does. You know, Star Wars, I talked a long time about Star Wars and how I'm like kind of lukewarm on it because my expectations are kind of low. I want them to do an incredible job. I want the game to come out, review incredibly well, and I want to love it. But other Star Wars games have come out, reviewed incredibly well, and I don't. And I just feel like everybody else is lying. Like, we went down that road. We talked about it when we did the Ubisoft joint since. So like, I'm not gonna rehash that. But yeah, I mean, E-Day.
That was a nice little surprise to do that
It
twist.
just
Take it back to the beginning.
Felt good. You know what I mean? Like, it just
especially to see Dom.
Yeah.
That
was a feel. Like, that just hitting the feels.
Yeah.
Like, when Marcus was falling and you just see the hand come to grab him, stop him from falling, it comes up, you just like, oh, like,
we get another ride with Dom.
Realistically, when I first watched the trailer, there are moments like after Marcus loses his bandana, he looks like Dom.
Right.
Like, I was kind of getting a little confused. Watching it, there was a moment where I was like, oh, it's Marcus. And then I thought when they did a cut that like it was switching and it was like his son. And it was kind of like his son. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they were going back and forth between them. And I thought maybe they're going to do a thing where it's like there's moments where they flash back to Marcus. Okay. And then you're also playing like Kate's story, continuing her story. And like you're playing as Marcus's son or something like that. And then like the more it happened, look, once he grabbed the TV, the CRT,
not that Dom,
and hit Slim, I was like, oh no, this is like, but this is also like Marcus was like struggling and like afraid. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he
not like him, not like the Marcus that we know.
Nah,
the version of him that we know. Yeah, that's the one we got.
Yeah,
this isn't quite that. This is like how we got there, and I just think it's gonna be really dope.
It's day one. Yeah,
I mean, here's the thing. I don't know. Somehow in my head, I think that I've always felt like the COG army became a thing because of
the E-Day.
That's what I thought,
not that it already was a thing on E-Day, but they're clearly in their gear for war.
Yeah, they're already established. Yeah, so what made them have to establish?
They got guns. They got right. So
I mean, they was an army, but they was not ready. They was not ready for the locusts.
No, they were not. Yeah, there was a lot. There was a lot that I really enjoyed. I thought that the Street Fighter 6 reveal.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah, I
about it. Thank you for reminding me.
I saw that. Hey, listen.
Oh my god!
I saw Terry on screen. I was like, oh, this dude's losing it right now.
Terry and my jokes. Terry and my don't effing play with me, dog. Don't play with me. You know I'm maining both of them in Street Fighter, dog. I'm so maining both of them. Sorry about that.
Nah, it's cool. I
completely forgot. Thank you for the reminder. I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, I think I understand. What's up, Alfonso? Been a while, man. Hope you doing all right. Those are probably my biggest standouts. Like, yeah, Those are probably the biggest ones.
Mm.
Avowed look cool. Again, there's so much stuff that's just like that's dope. Hey, it's in Game Pass, so I'll just play it.
It's good.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Um,
Hey,
for the
listen,
win.
that 2 terabyte model that they announced was right on time for all these games. Hey, y'all gonna need this extra space for all those new Game Pass games.
We gonna need
let's talk
those
about
by the
let's
end
talk
of.
about that. Let's talk about that because Call of Duty
Oh my gosh,
over
that's
300 gigs.
I didn't go to look at. I saw that they said something that it technically isn't 300 gigs, but because they make you download, even if you want a port like to just do like Warzone, or if you just want to do multiplayer, you still have to download everything else.
Dog, that is like if you have a Series S, you can't play nothing else.
You're done. You
that's
can get
Can't
Black,
play
you
nothing.
get Call of Duty, and that's
If
it.
you have Call of Duty and Fortnite, that's it.
hey, you can't even update those. That's just installing them
Why
as they are right now.
Oh,
There's no
yeah.
update. You're not getting no updates.
That's out the gate. Like I can't.
Yeah,
Nope.
it's ridiculous.
Um. Yeah, I'm concerned about that. Like putting out a 2 terabyte unit. I don't know, man. That joint's kind of sexy, bro. Like that new
I'm
joint with the disk drive, the little Galaxy joint. That joint's kind of nice, bro.
probably gonna get it
I'm sure you are.
because
Probably
the
gonna win it.
one.
Sure.
Hey, listen, if they do it, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try
I know.
because the One X that's in the living room, that joint a little slow. So yeah, shaky. So
Trigger.
I didn't see a Sega reveal,
Neither did
Alfonso. Yeah, I didn't see
you're just talking
anything
about. I
of
know the
something.
Sonic Shadow game they did talk about. I don't know if you're talking more than just that, but
If it's saying
I
if it
was
ain't
I
something
was
like a dragon,
I was looking for them to talk more about the stuff that they announced like last year, or maybe it was at like Tokyo Game Show or something like that when they showed like they was like Sega's working on all that stuff. We're doing a new Golden Axe and we're doing like
probably
the new Crazy
TCS.
Taxi, and like I was like, yeah, where's that? Let's go.
Yeah.
Didn't see anything about that. I would have liked to have seen it. Um, as that all kind of comes to a close, let me just say that Metal Gear Solid Delta looks incredible, bro. Like just looks, and I don't really want that joint, but now I might have to. Facts, Rick. Shaky.
Yeah. That'll be a definite purchase at some point.
Sin, do you miss E3?
Here's the thing. I think I miss it a little.
I don't know why that was so funny to me. It's just all right.
Not as much as probably I used to because we've been without it for the past few years. I think just nostalgia for reasons is why I miss it. I think next year it'll probably be gone. Like I miss it a little bit, and that's probably mainly because people kept talking about, it's not E3. We don't have E3 no more, stuff like that. Probably next year I'll be completely over it. Like I miss it like just a little bit, but still having needs to fill that space. I don't know, like I don't kind of technically miss it anymore. Like still getting the same type of stuff, those big conferences and announcements showing up, online. So like still getting it. It's just not called E3. And just everybody's doing it separately instead of one place together.
What about you, Joe?
I don't think I really miss it. Like maybe I would have loved to be able, like, in the earlier days, been able to go to an E3 and actually experience, being on the floor and kind of just being able to move around. But with like say Xbox, or actually I should say Summer Game Fest, Jeff Keighley at least allowing, fans to buy tickets to be able to come and still sit there and be a part of it. I still think that's a cool aspect, at least for that, where you can go and experience, with other gamers just to see those type of things, get those reactions would be kind of cool. But at the same time, being able to do what we do, we can sit here, pop it up on a TV. It's not like they do as many like demos and things like that anymore. We'll get the betas and things that'll come out closer to like when a lot of those games launch. That would be one of those things that I would say that I miss a little bit, is how a lot of those games, when they would announce them, would be like, hey, after the show is over, there's going to be a demo available that you can go grab and kind of play and get the experience it. But other than that, not so much.
I kind of do. I feel like I didn't. And then Xbox comes out and does the kind of showcase that like was designed to put PlayStation in the ground. Like that's how it felt. Right? And like I think there's nobody who's not talking about how like Xbox absolutely killed it. 3 weeks ago, people were pissed at Xbox for shutting down like 4 studios.
Mm-hmm.
And this week, everybody's like, oh my God.
Oh,
Xbox
that's forgiving.
2025, let's go. It's on. Game Pass, let's go. It's on. Oh,
and listen,
y'all putting such and such on. Like, they announced games that are like coming to play. Like, people don't care. People just like, yeah, bring it to PlayStation. Like, there's like this weird turn that happened, right? And I thought about it, and I know that Microsoft / Xbox has been planning for this showcase since like January, as if E3 is still a thing.
Mm-hmm.
They have been actually prepping and planning and working on putting together a show for this weekend since January, since right after Christmas.
Smoked it.
Nobody else is doing that anymore, because everybody's like, oh, well, let's do a little joint here, and then we'll do a little joint here. And you know what I mean? And it's not like they don't still have to have something for Gamescom, Paris Games Week, Tokyo Game Show. Like, all those big shows are still coming.
Mm-hmm.
And those shows still exist, even though quote unquote E3 doesn't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then still have to have something for Game Awards at the end of the year.
True.
Right? I miss that. I miss Nintendo and PlayStation and Xbox all vying for the news cycle. All of them like trying to one up and like really putting in the time and the effort to have something to put in front of their audience right now, middle of summer, when there's like no games coming out, but here's what you can expect. Here's what it, you know what I mean? And I know what the purpose of E3 used to be, like in terms of like, hey, here's what all the holiday games are. If you are Sears, Toys R Us, you need to check this out and know that this is going to be the hot game. You need to order a lot of this, right? Like that's kind of where they were. You don't really need that anymore when so much of your sales is digital.
Yep.
You don't necessarily need people to come in and you know how many discs to press and what you need to ship, and you need people to place those orders ahead of time, right? That business is not gone, but mostly gone, right? So typically it would have been, man, we'd have had a banger of a showcase from Xbox on Sunday. Sony would have followed up Monday morning. Ubisoft would have come in Monday evening. Nintendo would have bust them down on Tuesday, and then we'd have had a bunch of Treehouse stuff from Nintendo, while like, you know, you still would have had Major Nelson and all of them on the show floor doing demos, talking to devs, blah, blah, blah. And like, some of that stuff still happened, right? They did like multiple Xbox podcasts and, you know, gave you a little more depth on Dragon Age, gave you more depth on Dragon Age. Looks incredible too. Like, and what I'm hearing about that after they did the deep dive today, bruh, they're basically like, nah, this is the Mass Effect 2 of Dragon Age. Don't play with me. Don't say that.
Yeah, you can't.
You already told me.
That's
You thought that Mass
Bro,
Effect
hey,
2 is
look,
probably my
my
one of
that
point
my
is
is,
my
literally
all-time
what they are
favorite.
saying. The companions, like I watched like the
hey, look,
gameplay, like you're actually fighting. You know how Dragon Age has typically been a little bit more like Mass Effect, how like you stand back, you say
yeah.
yes, I'm shooting this person, whatever, but like you kind of give commands and it. Nah, Slim was fighting, bro. Like Slim was fighting, and
I need to go install Origins. Okay.
I said, okay, this is what we doing. Like it's like a 20-minute walkthrough
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
that they did. Looks incredible. They did a couple of deep dives into Metal Gear Solid Delta, Snake
Okay.
Eater. There was a really good deep dive into a Vow. Like, so again, they did that stuff, but like I just
Yeah.
miss, like Nintendo would do a whole conference and then announce something they didn't talk about at the conference in the treehouse joint. You know what I'm saying? Or do a direct and then follow it up
Yeah.
with a treehouse, which would be live and would have people
Yeah.
and announce something there. And it's like none of that's there anymore. And again, it's weird. I get it. Like for Nintendo, we're completely winding down. It's time to put out the new console. We don't really have much to show or whatever. Sony, I feel like maybe blew their load, you know what I'm saying, kind of early and didn't.
Try to.
Yeah, and no, I'm saying like in terms of like having their big heavy hitting games and
Mhm.
like they don't really have anything this year except like Astrobot and like that's it.
Right.
In terms of like, big first party
First party. Hmm.
exclusives, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Like Microsoft came like Doom the Dark Ages, bro.
Mm.
I have to play that joint. I
Yeah.
have to. And
Yeah, I'm interested in the
they
lore and all that stuff in that one. That is
they
kind of
came
cool.
out, showed that joint, and then just dropped the blog post and was like, oh yeah, it's coming to PlayStation 5. And people just like, yes, like
Hmm.
that's okay. You know what I mean? Indiana Jones, no. Exclusive, like their ability to just kind of pick and choose and to be like, well, we can do what we want. It's just really interesting, and I do miss that. I miss the kind of like showboating and the kind like not the console wars piece of it,
Right.
Hmm.
the fanboyism console wars piece of it, but the like time and effort piece of it that I
Hmm.
feel like is important. And it's weird that PlayStation as a company seems to be a bit more on business as usual in terms of, I mean, they're getting away from it, but in terms of like, we sell exclusives so that we can sell consoles because consoles is where the business is, and that's how we
Mhm.
measure our success is by console sales. And there seem to very much still be in that realm outside of like now they're putting stuff on PC because they need to expand it, right? Nintendo is still just Nintendoing. Like
Nintendo.
they're just doing what Nintendo does and don't
That's
really
it.
care because Nintendo lost that race so long ago that they can't compete from like a high-end technology standpoint.
Hmm.
So they just like put out software that goes with the hardware that they, that they put out.
Hmm.
Microsoft Xbox is on a completely different trajectory in terms of like buy up all this stuff and then we're gonna put stuff out wherever it makes the most sense for us to make the most money. And chain and like we're more interested in how many people are playing in our ecosystem on the ecosystem of our platform than necessarily how many people are playing on consoles. So judge our success by the number of people in Game Pass / Xbox Live and number of active users, the way that you measure Steam's success,
Hmm.
right? But they seem to be doing the most to change the way the industry operates from within, but then still are operating on the like, oh yeah, it's E3 in June, so we got to start prepping in January and have a big showcase, and everybody else is like, we're not doing that. Like we stopped doing that and spending that money forever ago. And Microsoft just like, well, we got the money. We'll just build a volume and put Phil on stage in here and not invite
Yeah.
anybody. We'll just
Hmm.
do the joint.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, like it's just
Yeah.
it's just kind of weird I do kind of miss it though. I do think that it's different. Like for all intents and purposes, for as much as I got to see and what I did enjoy, if this was E3, it would have been the most lackluster E3 I think I've ever seen outside of what Xbox did.
You know what I do miss about E3 now that we're sitting there talking, I'm thinking about it. I do miss those times of us getting together and watching all of those things together. Like that was a great.
I mean, we used to go to the movie theater and watch.
Yeah, and watch them. Yeah, like that was such a great time thinking about all that type of stuff. That was fire. Just being there, sitting together and watching jokes get hype over Power Rangers. You know, we're sitting there just laughing and stuff like that.
Just
you know
imagine, just imagine he'd have said Power Rangers. We've been sitting in the middle of the movie theater. I'd have caused a scene.
I remember we were sitting there together, and the Shonen Jump joint dropped, and we lost our itch.
And listen,
yeah, like times, dog, just memories.
it's a I don't even necessarily miss completely what E3 was, but I do miss like I think some of the pomp and circumstance, like some of the fanfare around, like what was quote unquote the Super Bowl of video games in the US. Right. And like for that to just not, can you imagine if like if we still had football teams, but they just didn't play a Super Bowl at the end of the day, like there just was no Super Bowl?
Keep
you understand what I'm saying? Like, that's
Yeah.
kind of like if one team showed up and was like, yo,
we
it's dope out here. Like, we having a good time. Like, you the only team that showed up. Like, it's just,
we got the ball. Okay.
Like, they just having a parade. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody, you know, it's just, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I do. I actually miss it. I didn't think I would, because I remember also having conversation where I'm like, it doesn't really matter because everybody can kind of do their own thing and nobody needs to go and be in this physical space anymore and whatever. And to some extent, I think that's been proven wrong. Like what Jeff Keighley is doing with Summer Game Fest, there is a physical presentation that media goes to play and demo games and try stuff out and have behind the scenes, closed doors interactions they come back and they report on, just like they would have at E3. IGN doing their own IGN Live and having people there and people buying tickets for it and that kind of thing. So like people are attempting to fill that void by having something live for people to go to, because E3 isn't there anymore and it just ain't coming back. And I don't think what Jeff's doing can quite turn into that, because nobody needs Jeff Keighley in order to do it. There's a lot of games that need to be showcased. What up, Zay? Thanks. Appreciate the view and the like. Go tell your friends to subscribe. Yeah, I just think it's different. I don't like, if the big three were all still doing conferences, you would have a lot more places for a lot of the indie games and so forth that were shown at Summer Game Fest to kind of be peppered in individually into those shows. There would be stuff at the Nintendo show. There would be stuff at the PlayStation one. There'd be stuff at the Xbox one. It would have got spread out a little bit more. You still probably would have had an Ubisoft conference, you know, but you wouldn't have to have Jeff's thing, you know, so to speak. Overall, I enjoyed it, but like if it wasn't for what Xbox did, mostly it would have been a bust, and people could have just like, oh, we'll just put out a couple trailers and call it a day. They could have spread that out throughout the summer, and that would have been it. Briefly, so we recorded and put out an episode of Spoiler Boys for the first 2 episodes of Star Wars: The Acolyte. I'm gonna say, if you're not already watching it, you should jump in and watch the first 2 episodes, and then probably watch this 3rd episode and make a decision on how you feel. You should absolutely do that and watch our conversation on Spoiler Boys. We had Frosty jump in, who was like a super Star Wars nerd. I know she does a She's on the Star Wars podcast. It's a bi-weekly podcast, Black Squad podcast. Every week. I guess they're doing every week right now while the show is on, but normally the podcast is bi-weekly. Right now I'm in a place where I think it's totally worth a shot. I think you should jump in and you should take a look. That's how I feel. Jokes, how do you feel about the Acolyte currently?
I'm in the same place. A little bit of a warm start right now, and I think with some things that we've seen, some pieces of the puzzle have just been dropped in front of us. It's worth getting through the next couple of episodes just to see how things start to formulate together. But I'm on board right now.
Sam?
I agree with both of y'all. It's enough going on in it that has all of us intrigued of where they're taking the story, and we have questions, and we're trying to spoil the boys it as we're going through. But what they're doing right now, I think right now what they're doing is working. But as we've said, it can easily go left or right at any time with what they're doing. So hopefully it's on the up and up. But for right now, I would say definitely jump in and give it a shot. Definitely.
I like the new characters they've introduced. I like the storytelling they're doing. I am highly intrigued by where it's going and what it's going to mean. Heather said, I'm not sure where Acolyte is going, but I'm interested. That is about exactly where we are. G. Rich said, I don't understand the hate so far. Oh, well, I mean, I can explain that. There's two big things people hate. Some of it is brown people starring in a Star Wars show.
Right.
And some of it is brown people now having to have the Killmonger hairdo.
Yep.
It just it's a thing.
It's like, angering everybody.
People are mad about it. I get that. You know what I mean? There is this kind of thing that's like, if you put a black man in a show, he has to have dreads, cornrows, bald, buzz cut, or the dread sweep with the shaved sides on it, like the dread sweep to one side. Like there have been a lot of characters, not just in live action TV, but in video games, in animation, and anime, and almost anything. They have basically taken the haircut that Michael B. Jordan had in Black Panther as Killmonger, and like everybody has that, and it feels like, oh, that's cool and different, let's do that. And it just is one of those things where it's like people are upset, you know what I mean, about that. And so that I'm cool with. Like, I'm cool with people being mad about that. I don't have a problem with people being upset about that. But whatever. And the long and short of it doesn't have anything to do with whether or not the show is good.
Right.
It might have something to do with whether or not people like the character that has the Killmonger. Sweet.
You know where I stand on him.
I know where you stand on him, and I know why.
Has nothing to do with his hair.
Nah, he's just a goody. That's all. Just he likes to follow the rules.
Just a Boy Scout.
You don't like Boy Scouts?
Nope.
I don't know, dog. Captain America is your guy, though. It's kind of weird.
He's my guy in the MCU. Yes, definitely.
Now, but he was your guy before that, though. Like,
no, never been. Absolutely never been. Like, I honestly thought he was corny as hell.
He is.
Like the stars and straight. Yeah, it wasn't until it wasn't until I saw him in the first movie. I was like, oh no, he be talking that trash, and he got them hands. Like, okay, that's what made me start liking him.
Leonardo got hands.
Nah, he a bum. Nah.
Cyclops got hands.
He trash too.
Leonardo got hands.
Leo got hands, yeah, but no.
I don't understand, bro.
No.
I don't understand.
No. Captain America ain't that much of a Boy Scout.
Yord is a Jedi Master. Maybe Slim got hands. Like, if in the next episode he gets busy. Like, if he gets busy,
okay.
Then what happens? Does he gain?
He's not gonna get busy. He'll get whooped.
That's not what.
He think he gonna get busy, and then somebody gonna say like, all right, calm down with all that, Slim, and put him down. Like,
I don't know.
against these
like,
droids, sure, but relax, Slim.
He seemed like he gonna come out and do like the Henry Cavill thing, and just like I feel like he gonna do some flukeness.
Jokes, be quiet. That is not happening.
Like, here's the thing.
Stop that.
They gave him a shirtless shot, which is like not a thing for Star Wars.
Not a thing for Star
Wars. You're right. It's not a thing for Star Wars. They gave Slim a no shirt shot. At some point, he better have hands, bro. He got to do something, dog. Like, why did we do that?
Maybe that scene wasn't supposed to be there. Man got something on his shirt. It's like, y'all, we ain't got time for this. We gotta film this scene. Just do it without the shirt.
I just can't wait for the Acolyte to murk him.
Never seen anyone in the Star Wars universe iron anything. And my man was like ironing. He was like steaming his robe.
He's a goof, dog. No, dog. I can't stand Slim. Get him off my television screen. Acolyte, murk this dude, and let's move on to somebody else.
Hey, dog, I was thinking to myself, you can't just force straighten your joint.
That's what I was just saying.
I can't force iron his clothes.
Hey, listen, you just stand there. Someone just running around the room see you.
Why the muscles gotta be different? You don't need to be like physically fit. I don't think to use the force, but maybe you do, or maybe it helps if you are. Where is he exercising? Where is their weight room? Where is
in his mind
the Jedi?
A man meditates lifting weights.
I'm just asking a question. Leave my man alone, dog. He cool.
No, not till he's off not till he's off to the show. Get him off the show.
Well, you better be prepared because that may be a while.
I feel like there's an extra life. I feel like there's a threshold of extra life money that Sin can earn where he would just have to cosplay as Slim. Off the early, like at like Magfest.
Somebody, one of our friends will be able to give him the Killmonger.
Hey, bro,
it twisted in there for. I think it's good that he was muted on that one.
Nah, he did that on purpose.
Exactly. Yes, I was trying, family friendly show, try to keep it as much as possible. But I had to get some language out.
Oh man, what up, Freeze? Currently the topic is hating on Boy Scouts. What's that? But like, oh man. All right, look.
No, Domingo.
That's right, Domingo. All right, man. We passed the E3 thing. Let's talk about Men's Mental Health Month. Last week we had a really good conversation. Just about the importance of kind of making sure we take a mental break and so forth. This week we want to do something a little different, and we're going to talk about video games that we kind of have personally like set aside to help keep us in our comfort zone when we need to take like a mental break. Jokes has a couple that he's going to share. Sin and I both do as well. I guess what I want to do first is, Jokes, we'll start with you. Before we actually show like some of the titles or whatever that you
Freeze
have like
on it.
Huh?
Freeze is already on
it.
What is
don't put these up for free since we're talking about it, since he's throwing them in there.
Hey, my man said Destiny 2 right in there. All right, fine. Jokes, Destiny 2, bro.
We'll just start there. Just start there. My number one go-to is Destiny 2. Destiny is one of these games. Like initially, I had a real love-hate relationship with Destiny, but I don't care what it is. I will never not go back to playing Destiny. I think it's one of the most smoothest first person shooter type elements that you can get into it. Um, I'm enjoying the story, even though it can get very convoluted at times. I think they're doing a little bit better, but there's different modes in the game. There's some modes that I can just go into and like there's no thinking involved. Like I'll just go in, I can just sit there, just chill, play through, do a strike, which is literally just a standard type of mission that you just go in from point A to point B. You don't really have to do anything extra for it. But then when I really want to push the boundaries or like really get into it, I can always jump into multiplayer. I can be on teams with people. I can just play versus everybody. It gives me a little bit of
I
On teams
knew
with
it
who, you
was
loud ass?
coming. I knew it was coming, bro. Like, I knew it was coming. I don't even know why you let that.
Don't you dare. Joe, shut
oh
your
well,
lying ass up.
nope.
He does. He just doesn't play with us. Sin. Like jokes
Y'all
don't want to
don't.
carry us.
You don't want. I will gladly do it, but you won't play Destiny. So
Let me hold on. We're gonna run that back because you got real loud.
Please,
And
please.
Let's
Get some
go.
bass in his voice with that one. Get some bass in his voice.
I want to jive like I just want to run that back. I played a lot of Destiny for a long time, and there's a lot about that joint that's trash. A lot about it that's trash, but it feels real
hey,
good.
no, you know that's the
Play.
story all the time.
It is. It feels good
Freeze.
to like
It
shoot in that
It
game.
don't
Like,
matter. He will never join you. Don't worry about it. He'll never join you.
And
So.
listen, hey, Freeze,
Freeze
I need to do the raid. So I need to do the raid. Hey, shout out to the homie Marcus, because it got me through that last part of the campaign. Hey, listen. This dude Marcus came through with like the cleanest instructions on how to do stuff. I struggled on this last mission for like a whole entire day. And when I tell you, me and Marcus did it one time.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to
He's a
Marcus.
good coach. He's a Sherpa, champ Sherpa. I mean, yeah. Look, I do get that. Like, I understand why Destiny is comfort food for you. I mean, the game's it's 10 years, right? It's been 10 years of them kind of growing it and adding new stuff. And when you go, you are visiting familiar areas and running familiar missions and doing. I mean, look, it is a lot of rinse and repeat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe what changes is you have a new gun. You know what I mean? You swap out some of the abilities that you have. You have multiple characters, right? So it's cool. Free said I ran 4 people through that campaign. My dude Ohio said the same thing. Some people
Hey,
just suck.
listen, it's valid. I soloed most of it. And then but that last it was just some small little minute details that you just need to change and make it a smooth little run for it.
Jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Did I not tell you to buy that joint for me right before the show started?
Hey, listen. I'm just scared if we do it, it's then going to tell me to go that I'm going to have to pay full price to get the damn after we do that joke. I would be pissed. But it's worth a shot.
Man, Free said Diablo 4 is
Hey,
one of them games.
listen.
Oh, I get it.
I was on Diablo for a good minute. Then I don't know what else came out.
Hey, look, man, I don't.
Like,
You know, look, I will say that you're borderline obsessed with Destiny. Like you have purchased Destiny multiple times, multiple consoles. I get it. Like I get it. That's a real comfort food for you. I understand like being able to just kind of jump into something that you're so familiar with. It's just easy. Like it's kind of mind numbing. You can just do it. You don't really have to think too hard about it.
Mm-hmm.
You also pop this up there.
Yep. So Pokemon TCG Live, it's the latest interaction of being able to play the trading card game online. It makes it super easy for me because typically to go to a live tournament, it's either I'm always working or whatever maybe will stop me from being able to actually go and participate in a live event when I could just boot my computer up, jump in, and be able to play. I wish it was as simple as like for the cards that I collect that I could just take what I have and just move it into the game. They at least allow you to use codes that unlock cards
Yeah.
in the game so you can build your deck and assemble them for it. Um, Pokemon, same thing. It's something that I've just grown with over the years. And the trading card game, unlike a lot of others, it's not super heavy mechanic driven. So you're not having like a Yu-Gi-Oh that I will never play it again because it's just too much. It's just too much.
Okay.
But it's
That's not
it's
comfort food.
easy.
I get it.
It's easy to get into. And obviously, Pokemon for me is just something that I grew up with and it's just stuck with me. I collect the cards physically, I collect them digitally now because of playing the game so much. Um, and it's just like I said,
Uh-oh.
it's comfort food.
Freeze
Listen,
asking about that Marvel Snap. I
hey, look,
tried it. That
I
don't make my
tried
phone hot.
and listen, and listen,
Phone hot,
damn,
bro.
My phone hot.
listen. I'm starting to play too many mobile games.
You are.
And I can't add another one. I've played more.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
because of that
Marvel
right
Snacks.
there.
Yep.
That is one. Monopoly Go. Jesus, it is a horrible addiction at the same time.
Right for you?
When I tell you, I currently have a text chain with a batch of folks at work because we trade and do everything because we just playing it. It's crazy. But it's one of those things that like you can literally. Facts, I deleted that.
My man said I played the Marvel Snap on PC. Nah, dog.
Hey, I've taken a slight step back from it because of that. Actually, because of what Noah just
Solo
put
leveling.
on screen.
Solo leveling game.
You know what? Sidebar. Solo leveling is actually it is really good. I will warn those if you are only watching the anime, this game it's going through the manga. So if you're not trying to spoil it, there's going to be a stopping point you're going to have to hit. But you're going to want to keep playing it because you want to keep leveling up.
It's not good.
That's the gamer, yeah.
Sin.
Yo. What?
Comfort game.
Oh yes, Stardew
Can't
Valley. That is definitely one of them. It's just something about having that game, moving to a new town and getting your old farm for your grandfather and building it back up and meeting the people around the town. It's so relaxing. It's so chill. Like come home and work on the garden. Go to the harvest festival, hang out for a little bit. Nothing too crazy. I might go into the dungeon, kill some bats or something, go get some ore, come out, take my lady out to dinner. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Come back, get ready, prep for the winter season. It's just something so just chill, relax. Once you
Did
get
you
through
get married in that joint?
Not to get that far. I got to the point where I'm still on the first year and it's wintertime. And I didn't prepare for the winter like I should because I can't grow shit. So I kind of got to start over. Yeah.
You froze,
so
you died.
yeah. So now that I know that, I plan on starting over anyway because it's something I have it twice. I have it on the Xbox. I have it on the Switch. Like it's always there. Something just relax, play. Like it's just a good relaxing. It can get intense once you really, try to get your farm just right, how you want to set it up and everything. And it's just a really fun, really relaxing, stress off my brain, just good time. Once you get past the game mechanics and how to play it and all that stuff, and it just becomes second nature for you, it's just so easy. It's just a lot of fun. So that is definitely one of them. Did I die?
Followed up with?
Oh.
Yeah, that's one of my babies. That is probably my number one stress relief.
I don't like how you said that. Like I don't know. I don't like. I'm not
like it is
baby.
like it.
I
I constantly I have it on PlayStation and Xbox. I constantly go back to it. It's just something about the sound, the openness, just the exploration of it. Like it's something about just getting in space and just flying to a new location, a new galaxy, landing down. It's all procedurally generated, so no matter where you go, it's always different looking. You find new creatures and all that kind of stuff, and just exploring and seeing what's out there. It is. I have had so much fun with this game, and especially all the quality of life stuff they've done over the years to take it from where it was, which was not the greatest when it first came out, but to where it is now. It is always something new to find, something new to explore, and like I said, just wandering out there in the vastness of space, walk around on the planet, hearing spaceships fly above or whatever. Like it's just so peaceful to me just playing that game until I run into a storm and get attacked by a bunch of pirates. Other than that, it is so soothing for me to play this game.
You are a
So
pirate.
soothing.
That should be fun.
Dig it. And then
Whew.
Oh, yeah, this one is I've had a rough day and I got to put hands on somebody. King of the Fighters always does that for me. And it's not specifically this one, it's literally any King of the Fighters. Like, I'm a big fan of the King of the Fighters franchise. I'm a big fan of fighters just in general.
Like yeah. Is there, you got a favorite one?
98. 98 okay. is by far still my absolute favorite. I'm pretty sure I have it on both. I might have it on all three systems because I just love 98. That was the last time when my character was super OP. After that, they nerfed him and I got pissed off. But yeah, it doesn't matter what King of the Fighters. It could be any one of them, and I will just run it. Try to do different 3-team setup, see how these guys work together, how I like that, and just let me just get the stress off the day. Just go put hands on somebody real quick. King of the Fighters is just always one of my go-tos. Like, love the franchise, love the characters, love all the different looks of everybody. That is definitely one of my big things. Yeah.
I want to say that, like,
we must be talking about what's the name? No Man's Sky. Noah, I'm thinking. Yeah, that's the other guy trying Valheim with you. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something. Fighting games they are kind of like that for me. Like, there's just ones I've been playing for so long, Tekken, stuff like that, where I can just jump in, switch into claw mode, and just go to town. But I'm gonna tell you what's crazy is that what keeps me from usually having those games as like comfort food games to kind of get me out of, say, like a mental rut or like having a day is the load times are like terrible now. Like, it just takes too long to like get into Tekken or Mortal Kombat. Like, it just feels like, and that just does something to me where it just kind of takes me out of it. And I generally like to jump into something that, like, the kind of stuff I usually like to play to kind of clear my mind mentally are ones that, like, you go. Like, even when you die, you go again. When you start out, you go again. Like, it doesn't.
I think what I mean? Subconsciously, that's probably one of the reasons why I like No Man's Sky. Like, from where it's really no loading times. You know what I mean? How the game works. I could be on a planet, fly into space, fly to another planet, land there, and go start exploring that one all over. Just keep on going. Yeah. So it just feels so good to just sit down, relax. Don't got to worry about screens and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, my games that none of them really. I mean, I think obviously Stardew Valley is a pretty chill game. Destiny's not really a chill game, but when you know it the way you know it, to like maybe run a strike you're familiar with or something like that, you kind of just do it, right? And as you get good at it and as you build your level, it becomes easy. What are you saying, son?
I would say that was going to be on my list, Destiny, but I'm so far behind and stuff I need to do that now it's no longer comfort food for me. It's more like I got to get the stuff done in it. Yeah, so it's shifted off my list because of that.
Yeah. Again, I get King of Fighters. It's been around for so long that, like, you just know characters, you know movesets, you know how it feels, you get it. Like, I'm never really loved King of Fighters specifically. I was an Art of Fighting guy more than a King of Fighters guy, and certainly was a Street Fighter guy more than a King of Fighters guy. And then SNK versus Capcom, though.
Oh, bring back part 1 and part 2 for me. I'll be so happy, so freaking happy.
I have access to them. Maybe we'll play them this weekend. We'll talk about that. So yeah, so I like to get into stuff like this. Man, listen, jokes. I feel like you should know.
Oh, I do.
Like, it makes me happy to like go into the joint. This game, it starts out it's so simple. Just eat the dots, avoid the ghosts, right? And then as you play, it starts to speed up. Like, faster and faster and faster, and it becomes more manic, and you just start to get you get really good at starting to avoid ghosts, and it just, I don't know, man. This joint, and it's not like, I mean, look, I don't. It's the most incredible thing, but it does, like, just looking at this makes me feel good. The sound of every point, the sound of eating dot, the waka attack, that, like, just kind of like, it gets fast, and I realize that, like, what happens is there's so much going on, I can't think about whatever was bothering me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, you are you tripping when you play. That's how I like my games. Like, that's like, it is comforting to me to play a game like Hyperdot.
Oh, Hyperdot.
Let me tell you something, dog. It is sickening how ugly it can get. But I'm like, I have it done. It sounds like an old Spark. This is like this background, boy getting hit, trying to avoid everything that's on the screen, little mesmerizing patterns, there, and like all you're really trying to do is last. Like this particular one, I'm trying to last for 30 seconds. I'm at 24. And you see that restart? As soon as you hit that joint, it starts again immediately. It's like, it's so like, hey, let's do it again. And it's just like, I get into like this mode of like, I have to do it. Hell, like, I have to do it. You know what I mean? And some of them, it's a pattern like this. And then other times, as they switch up to like what's happening, or you have different rules that you have to go through. Like, I almost had it, and then the next, you know what I mean? Like, the next thing you know, I'm like, I should have had that joint, and you just hit restart, and you go again. Tell me you didn't. What? Of course I did, bro. And I would bet that if you grabbed it, you'd end up addicted to the joint. It's like, set it up, pick whatever color you want. See, I'm on level 83. Like, I just keep going through. I won't go to another level until I finish. But like, in this case, see all the things it tells you to collect. You have to collect them. Can't get hit. You can get hit, but you can only take so many hits. And like, you can't see what's coming at you except for the light that's emitted by the dot that's you. And I'm like,
yeah, they can kiss my ass with all that.
I just have to do it again. I mean, you know, I'll play this joint, geometry.
I know.
board.
Yeah, I know, that's your bag. Yeah.
It's like, I do this all night, bro. All night. And be like perfectly fine. Like, I'm going to collect all of them. I gotta get 15. And I can't see what's coming. You're trying to pay attention to all of what's going on around you on the outside. You're paying attention to what's near you, light on the inside. You're immediately like trying to like change your like your thought process in terms of like, all right, I feel like I just need to keep moving. But you're definitely gonna get hit if you do that. So sometimes you just, all right, I just gotta wait. But then they put a timer on like the things you have to collect, and you're like, but I'm trying to go get that joint. Like, I need that one more joint. And it's just like, you know, and when it's over, you should go again.
Go again.
And you just go again. And you just go again. And then when you don't feel like it anymore, you just put it down. And it's like, all right, well, that's cool. I'm done now. Though, like games like that like have a little bit of a learning curve, kind of test your reflexes, right? Where it's really you against you, right? And just like you kind of whatever. And again, it's like when you're there, you're like into it. The music is kind of cool. It's like kind of calming, whatever. But the motion and the movement can be really frantic. At the same time, again, like the way your mind has to kind of get lost in it, you just can't really think about or worry about anything else that's happening in the outside world. It just makes it easier, right? And so like those are like, I'm just like, you know what? I just need something easy, something simple that I can boot up really quickly. I can get in, play a couple of games to kind of just get myself kind of like allow myself to reset. And then I can, which again, like to your point, saying like, I think that's part of why like fighting games can work so well, because you can go in and just run a couple of matches. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like, you can feel free to like, well, I don't need to run all the way to the end to beat the boss. Like I can just kind of like, I can do
jump
a
in
couple
arcade mode or something. Yeah.
Same thing with jokes. Like you could jump into Destiny, which again takes way too long to load for me. So that like that's one of the reasons why that couldn't be a comfort thing for me. But like you can get in and run a strike, and in like 15 minutes or less, like you can be done and feel like that was cool, and you can bounce, right? And like I get that, like that could be really, really comforting and easy. So I think what's kind of cool about having a conversation like this and talking about the things, like you can see that we're all very similar in that we do play a lot of the same games. We all enjoy a lot of the same games. We play a lot of those games together most of the time. Most of us play games together. But like, the stuff that we generally choose or have chosen to kind of like give ourselves a mental break, the stuff that we go to that we consider comfort food, they're all very different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From what the other person has chosen. And like none of this outside of like Sin being like, oh, I would have put Destiny, but now I'm too far behind, so it's not really comforting. I have to actually go through the story and kind of figure that out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Clown him a little bit.
It's the story.
And outside of me being like, nah, like a good fighter is something I can jump into. And there was a time like Jokes was like really in like MK, like Mortal Kombat 10 and some of those. And for a brief moment, we're starting to really get into Tekken 8.
See, if I go back into it, it's gonna be a problem. You
say that as if Monopoly Go isn't a problem, and Destiny 2 isn't a problem, and Pokemon isn't a problem. Like the only thing about your joints, Jokes, is that the stuff you pick is stuff that you're like currently addicted to. I don't even know if they're necessarily like go-tos for like comfort, so to speak. Like, oh, I'm having a bad day, let me whatever. Like these are joints that you just play on a regular basis anyway. They're just like there. So again, I think that is a little bit different in terms of like it's separating what your thought process is, like getting away. It's maybe like just like I do this every day.
I think I just like my brain and the way that it works. Like one that I would add that I haven't played it in so long, but when I pick it up and I play it, like a muscle memory kicks in. Guitar Hero. I haven't played Guitar Hero in a minute. When Sunday I was at Dave and Buster's for a work event, and one of my coworkers was playing it, so I was like, "Hey, let me get in on this." And I started playing it. First time through, I was like, "Ugh, I was a little rusty." And then I started playing. I was like, "Oh, here that muscle memory go." And he just looked at me. He was like, "Why are you so good at this?" I'm like, "It's just muscle memory, my dude.
This is what I do, my guy."
Yeah.
And the funny part is he plays guitar. And one of our other coworkers came and was like, "How is he beating you? Don't you play guitar?" I'm like, listen, it's two different things. You can't do it.
Yeah, that's a different thing, Rocksmith. Yeah.
But oh god, Guitar Hero, like I hope they'll bring it back. But until then, Clone Hero or my PC works just as great. I just got to buy the new guitar.
Yeah. You know what? I'll tell you why I couldn't find that relaxing is the sound, the particular sounds of those clickety clacks on that guitar. Like, nah, that's like that don't feel good at all to me. I hate that. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
I hate that sound, bro. Like that's a terrible sound. There's nothing relaxing about that at all.
You
You
got
know
that
what I'm
one of the
saying?
better guitars. There's one of the later Jones I got had the nice silent click on there. You could hear that clean.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. Um, yeah, look, I think it's important, look, if you are a gamer, you probably do have stuff that you go to that's just like comfort stuff. Like when you're like in a mood that isn't like, well, let me jump into this RPG I've been playing and keep going through the story. I need something that I can just kind of jump in, get it out of my I'll be honest, man. Vampire Survivors,
Yeah, sure.
it's
That's sure.
crack right now, so it's not comfort food. Right now, that joint is crack. Like it's crack, but it's simple. I can get in. You're just trying to survive. You're trying to last. Like 20 minutes on this board, 30 minutes on this board, or whatever. And like every run is a little bit different. And that joint is like, see, free. You like that's fine. To me, that's the same thing as what the other joints are. It's just like moving around, aiming, trying to like grabbing different weapons, getting different abilities, like building that stuff up as you play. You get some money, you go and you buy some more abilities or whatever, and you run again, and now you're a little bit stronger, and then you get a little bit more stronger, and then you like start to figure out like what kind of weapon combinations actually go really well together. And then they have these joints that like if you get these two and you build this all the way up, then you get like a super version of that weapon, and you go from being like you can die in a heartbeat when you start a run at 0, and by the time you're like 15 minutes in, bruh, you could be like a god. Like they can't do nothing to you, and they just have to send the Grim Reaper in to come get you. They're like, it's been 30 minutes, dog. That's enough, and they just send them in to murk you. It's incredible. It's incredibly satisfying to have the Grim Reaper show up and just like kill you. Game's over, dog. Like we had enough of you, dog. Hey, listen, I feel you, Freeze, with the mage, but for real, dog. It's a couple of joints in there. Like I've been building out all of the characters. I'm trying to remember. She has a joint where she can fire, like she fires straight up and down at the same time. And when you build that joint all the way out, or the lightning all the way out, or for real, the pentagram. Once you get that joint all the way built, you're unstoppable. He just like it's, and it's so simple. It's ugly. It's so ugly. It's an ugly game. It's like there's no buttons. You just move. Like it's the most like you just do it. It's so dumb. And now I got I got the little Contra add-on. So I'm running around with the little Contra homies, getting the probotectors and all of that.
Face the Lord Schwarzenegger.
Joints, grabbing the joints and getting the spreader and like building that joint up to level 10. Like, it's just like it's stupid. It's mindless. Like it's just mindless. Like just all right, let's just go. So that joint probably is gonna end up being like a comfort joint. There's so much stuff to open and so many things to unlock and so much stuff to discover that like it's just kind of like constantly clicks that endorphin kick. You know what I mean? But again, like you gotta find the things that are good for you to relax for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, bro. Books are like that. And again, these are things that we've all picked that are comfort food that we generally play when we don't play together. We definitely have stuff that we play together for those very moments when it's like, dog, we just need to go blow something up. Let's jump in GTA for a little bit.
Gage.
Double Dragon hands right now.
These hands, dog. Streets of Rage, Double Dragon, Robles. I don't care,
bro.
I don't care.
How'd you go for the Daniel Garcia for a second?
No.
Girls, bro.
Never that. River City Girls is fire.
River City Girls, bro. Just like running. Look, Scott Pilgrim running around just beating the change out of guys. You know what I'm saying? Like just
right out their khakis.
Yeah. Not all joints do that. Like the Ninja Turtles joint, not as satisfying.
No, right now it's Double Dragon, Streets of Rage.
Streets of Rage been cranking the last
River City Girls.
River City Girls is crack.
That thing is fire.
There are games that will be like, yo, let's jump in and just do some destruction. and kind of get some stuff out of our systems or whatever and move on. So there are games that we play together like that, but there are a lot of games that are just like they're the ones we go to when it's just us and we don't kind of maybe want to deal with anybody else and just kind of want to get into a silo. And I think that just the sheer, if you just look, I'll put these up again. King of Fighters, No Man's Sky, and Stardew Valley, bruh. Right? Pokemon trading card, not even like the like trading card, Destiny 2 and Monopoly, bruh. Like Hyperdot and Pac-Man, like they're not.
No, we are all over the place. That's kind of cool.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And it's like, I think that's important, right? Because it does speak to how, when you're in a place mentally, what you might need to help you get where you need to feel like you're normal again can just be so different from what somebody else needs to do. You know what I mean? Your mind works differently. The things that you find comforting works differently. So I just think that's dope. My man said that's why I wish we had Anthem.
And we jumped in that a few months back.
We did. We did jump in. We jumped in and played that joint not that long ago. And I'm gonna tell you what, it's gorgeous.
It is
nothing to do. It was nothing to do, bruh. It was people in there.
Damn, it felt good to fly in that game. Oh
man, what a misfire, bruh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the prettiest gun with no ammo. It's basically what that joint was. All right, look, we gotta wrap the show up. We got a little bit of a week ahead of us. So jokes. There's some wrestling happening this weekend, right?
Yeah, so we got Clash the Castle coming up. Feel like gonna be some cool stuff going down. Also, we're gonna be having our latest episode of The Finisher going live on Saturday. With WWE now seeming like they are really in business of doing partnerships with other companies, we just had a whole conversation about that, and we just got some more news on new collaboration that they're doing. So we're probably going to continue a part of that conversation come that episode that's going to drop on Saturday.
Dig it, Sam. What's going on in the anime world that exists in Thriller Park?
This week, Thriller Park, we are continuing ReZero with episodes 12 through 14 this week. We just closed out the last arc in the story, so we're all looking forward to where in the hell this story is taking us. Because as we remember, it's great. It's just you forget stuff when it's been a while since you watched it. So I know how we get to the end point, but everything in between there is all new to me. It's all new to me all over again. So we're all excited about closing that arc out and starting this new arc that's about to start. So join us for episodes 12 through 14, Thursday, 9:30 in the Discord, Thriller Park channel.
Cool. We are going to continue to put out episodes of Spoiler Boys for the Acolyte. As those episodes come out, we have to work out when we're going to record that this week, but talk about that when this show is over. We will be at StellarCon York, in York, Pennsylvania, this Saturday. By all means, feel free to come and check us out. I'll be on stage hosting a couple of panels for a couple of cool voice actors. The voice actor who is Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2. One of the voice actors from like Genshin Impact. Like it's gonna be a good time. So if you haven't already, just look up StellarCon York. Check it out if you can get out, in the York, Pennsylvania area. Feel free to shoot up, hang out with us for the day. It's 11 to 5. VIP gets in at 10, but VIP is sold out now. So yeah, we're gonna go up and spend some time there. Other than that, I just want to wish all the fathers out there a happy Father's Day this weekend. For this Sunday. I hope you enjoy yourself, cook out, you know what I mean? Relax, play some comfort food games or something if that's your bag. By all means, So please have a happy Father's Day from myself and the rest of the crew here. We'll see y'all next Tuesday for another episode of Weekly. We'll be talking about some more mental health stuff for sure. I jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell the people what I need them to know?
Think I can. Remember, y'all, just because you have a well thought out plan doesn't make it a good idea.
With that, we're out. Tools and lose.
Loading snacks.